I'm George Onofoko, the MD CEO, Coleman Wires and Cables. We're a business set up in 1975.
My name is Ashwaju Solomon Kaudi Onofoko, OON. I'm the chairman of Coleman Wires and Cables. When we were growing the economy in Nigeria, we discovered that it's better for us to start planning ahead and we have to start producing in Nigeria.
My name is Michael Onofoko. One of the major contributors to our high quality product is automation.
My own level of understanding of business, or my own level of business, I got to the point where I was able to sell a container off for my dad at the age of 18. And what did I do differently? For 6 months, his managers did not sell this product. Went to Issa Williams, met a friend of mine who is also in wine business, made my pitch to Basil about our product, what we have, he could come and see it and pay for it and take it immediately. These two gentlemen came to the office. I was away from work on that day, and within 3 days or a week, they literally bought the whole container. So invariably, that's the day I got an MD of a position that I didn't know about.
I joined Coleman in 2001, 2002. Myself and George moved back from the UK to join the business with the aim of restructuring it.
So my first business was doing mine, and 2-3 months after, the old man asked,
What does it take for us to be there?
if I could take over the business and as the MD. But they were in crisis. I didn't know they were in crisis.
The business had been in existence for about 2 years before we joined, but if they were not running as efficiently and as effectively as they ought to. They had gone into debt, and we needed to look at the business as a whole and see where the leaks are, plug the leaks, and restructure the business.
And I went back to my wife and my business partner. I said, this thing will take 3 years to solve, but the next 2 years of your life will be the toughest ever. But third year, all of you will smile. And they looked at me funny. I was like, yeah, right.
By the time we do all the drawing on the board, we are already 25 years plan. So, and we want to be in that 25 years. And luckily, I must give credit to
processes. So over the years, as we improved our processes and built more facilities, we've incorporated newer technologies. This has gone in the direction of being able to monitor both quality assurance, quality control processes from one control room. So you can see pretty much almost all our processes from one location, and it also reports non-conformities immediately, and you're able to react to it from that control room.
In Arepo, we have Arepo 1, 2, and 3. In Shagamu, we have Shagamu 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now 6 happening. Now, and this story started off from Arepo 1, which is our first factory after Ekotun. So that's 2009. Arepo 1 was meant to be an all-encompassing house wiring and power cable factory, because that was the first leap for us, and was a massive leap because it was a 2,000% leap. We're coming 1,000% leap. It was coming from a 2,000 square meter factory to a 20,000 square meter factory, which under normal circumstances was so abnormal. Most people thought it was literally not possible, but we were able to achieve it. It took us 2 years to stabilize it, and we got it right. So that was 2009. And by 2012, we started the high voltage factory, which was the Shagamu 1 factory. And the whole idea concept was based on power cables. So we wanted to take out some of the power cable from here because our capacity was not enough for power cables. And we moved some, we wanted to also make high voltage cables, which was going to be the first of its type in West Africa at the time, and also making Nigeria only the 5th country of production in Africa. So that came up and was commissioned in 2014, December. That was Shagamu 1. Then by 2015, same 2014, we started the Arepo 2 project, which literally was next door to the Arepo 1, which was an house wiring factory built really for 10 mm below, 1 mm, 1.5, 2.5, 4 mm, 6 mm, and 10 mm. The design was really to descope some of the cables being done in 1 into 2, whereby making us more efficient. You reduce the numbers of cables being done in a factory, you increase the efficiency, and then increase the numbers, because our wiring cable also became our big size of our business. So we needed more wiring cable. So that gave us the Arepo 2 project.
Over the years, I mean, technology has also evolved, especially in electricity generation. We made, about 4 years ago, we made the switch from diesel or carbon-based fuels to gas. That saved us substantially. It cut our emissions by about 40%. It also ensured that we're getting higher returns per kilowatt hour for every BTU of gas that was being burnt. And that has ensured that our carbon footprint is reduced.
For power, typically every business, especially every manufacturer, starts with you're using the grid vis-a-vis diesel generators. More like you're using diesel generators and the grid is the backup. So that's really how all of us start. So yeah, like 16 hours of your day is spent with your own diesel generator. And if you're lucky, you'll get maybe 6 to 8 hours of the day with the grid, if you're lucky. In some cases, you're not that lucky.
Further improve that, we've employed technology where we've gone from traditional pieces of equipment to more, I would say, energy efficient technologies such as motors, soft start drives, and that enables you to use less energy but for higher work. So it improves your overall efficiency, but ensures that you're using minimal energy but getting very high returns.
We took a strategic decision. We need to get out of that problem, which meant, 10, 20 years ago, the cost to power per megawatt was very high in terms of gas. And with every technology, the more you go and the more people use it, the less the cost becomes per kilowatt and per megawatt. And I remember when we started off looking at the power section, it was like almost $1 to $2 million per each megawatts of power you invested in. And over the
but it's left to the computers or the PLCs running the plant to ensure that they're meeting those standards each time. So the operator, although is able to interfere or intervene if things go out of control, well, 9 times out of 10, most of the standards are maintained by technology-driven processes, and that ensures that we're consistent and also maintain that across board.
But 2019, we also got interested in the fiber optics. We were literally contacted by Coleman. Coleman is the largest producer of fiber in the world, and they pioneered fiber optic cable in 1970. So they contacted us to look for an African company that wanted to, with their technology or know-how, build a cable factory. And in between some cutting it short, having a meeting with them in London, like 2-hour meeting, I go, you know what, I've been looking at this project for 5 years. Keep your money, keep your equity. We will do it because we're interested in it. But COVID then came. But in between COVID, we had already started before COVID, Shagamu 2, and Aripo 2 that was completed by 2015 end around October. So Shagamu 2 had started in 16 but stopped. But we started again Shagamu 2 in 2018, and we went on. But 2019, we started off on the the Aripo 3 project, which is the fiber optic project. And in between COVID, we actually finished both Shagamu 2 and Aripo. But in between that, we had already started Shagamu 3, which is the backward integration factory for making our copper and our aluminum locally. Because you need to take a process backwards. And the Shagamu 2 project was to also increase the capacity of our power cables, at the same time introduce another product, which is the marine cable, which was going to make us the second producer in the continent for marine cable, and also introduce gap cable for transmission. And that gap cable basically is a specialized steel reinforced cable that is used for transmission, which I think today there are about only 3 producers in the continent today. And will be the second or the third in the continent having the ability to produce gap cable in country. And so that was the Shagamu 2 project. Marine cable, low to high voltage, power cables, and the distribution gap cable. Now for Coleman, one good part of our journey is literally being gender sensitive. We've got a lot more women in the system, but we don't have a lot more women in the, what we saw at the beginning was that it was a factory. In most cable factories in Nigeria, it was literally just filled with men. And we made a conscious decision that, look, certain areas, how do we get the inclusiveness of women into the workforce? Today, we're proud of the fact that we've hit 30% inclusion with women, and ours is to want to drive it down. It's really my own personal target is to at least get 40 to 60, at least over the next few years. And how did we achieve that? What we did was we used technology. The cost to technology and the cost to might be more, but the more you ease the work, the more you reduce the labor intensiveness of your workload, the more that workload can be gender balanced easily. So where you actually have work that is too heavy, you find that most women don't want to do it. But if I stop you from actually carrying any heavy weights and mechanize it or automate that process to avoid you doing it, then I can literally, and all I need you to do is press a couple of buttons. I literally can put anybody there. And so over the years, we're able to get into areas where they were dominantly men to be dominantly women, and some areas where even the men felt the women can never operate, we started getting them in there because the workflow for Coleman became a lot easier. And the workflow also allowed us to have women in certain areas that was easier for them because of the type of technology that is being used. So it's a big pride for us that we get more women. And I think it started for me from the basic, when we were in a cartoon and we had a lady join our mechanical and fitting and welding team. She was only on IT, but literally she was the most dedicated person out of all the men and did her job without argument. And I felt, you know what, since you can have a woman in methodology doing our work this well in welding, why do we want to shy away from this woman? And since then, we've grown the numbers massively. And I think we'll continue for me to drive those numbers to make it more inclusive. And we beg to ask any cable company in our region or anywhere that has the numbers that we have. So that's, to me, it's pride for us.
Coleman Wires and Cables Technical Industries Limited is an indigenously owned business with a capital base of over 300 billion naira in plant, machinery, raw materials, and stocks.
Now, today, one thing we've pride ourselves is the training scheme. Most of the people that come to Coleman today have come through our training scheme. The training scheme starts you off within 6 months to 1 year, which, when it's reviewed, if you're good enough, you become a full-time staff. And the training scheme is train the trainers. We've trained you, you train the next person.
People are the currency of a great organization, and Coleman Wires and Cables workforce is a family driven by one objective, and that is to be the best at what they do, with investing in staff a key component of their culture.
We focus a lot on training part. We do the apprenticeship path so much in such a way that we create pipeline and training models, and so we bring in our staff from not knowing anything about what we do. We train them extensively, then build them up to be able to become
percent of them came from the NYSC scheme. Some of them, this is still their first job 9 years down the line.
I think the journey started as a NYC in the year 2015. So year 2016, I finished my service here then. Then I was retained as a full staff for a job role of a sales executive. After 3 years, I was promoted to a senior sales executive. Then after 2019-20, I was promoted to the team lead. Year 2021, I was promoted to assistant sales manager. Then year 2024, I was promoted to sales manager.
The reason why I stayed long, number one, when you work with Coleman, number one, there is job security. Coleman don't just sack anyone anyhow, except in the case of a theft. If you are up and doing, then there is future with Coleman. That you can become whatever you want to be in Coleman. I joined Coleman with school cert fail, but today, to the glory of God, I've been chartered accountant. And Coleman have assisted me so long. So that is why I remain with Coleman.
How do you get people to stay 9 years, 10 years, and this is their first job? I said it's the way you train people and the way you make them believe in their future. And the same thing goes in the factory. That training scheme develops people. It develops their ability to grow.
Kwan Ilaidao, Coleman Technical Industries Limited. I am the Assistant Admin Manager / Chinese Translator. My major role was to be as the admin Chinese translator. That is to come in and translate for the engineers that come in to repair the machines, that came to install the machines. So I bridge in between a gap of interpreting to the factory workers and the Chinese people on ground, and also taking for their welfare.
All the workers from Cotonou come to here because that place is just like a small company that started.
I've been working in Coleman for 5 years. I'm the head of the coiling section, in charge of the ladies coiling wires on the floor.
My name is Jubri Ganiu. I'm a maintenance officer. I'm used 19 years in Coleman Wire and Cable. Coleman is a training grant. When you work for Coleman, we get many experience.
Talk about staff incentives. We are very heavy on that. The truth of the matter is that the manufacturing industry is very fluid. You have people come in and then go out. And these days, people take pride in what they know and where they want to work. So our incentives for keeping staff is one, we know that one of the key things that people spend money on is transportation. So we focus a lot on that. So we have staff buses for all our cadres of staff. We have staff buses that apply from our major routes. We have official vehicles for all our management staff, and we do performance bonus, and then we do profit sharing.
Investment is very key in our business here. As the inflow is coming in, my own is to make sure that I multiply the fund. One thing about the kind of business we do here, the integrity is very key. Integrity, capacity, and let me say quality. Because when we talk about wires and cables, we know that it's very important in every home, in every society. It's like a product that everyone uses. And because it is like a product that everyone uses, we have to make sure that our products are of high quality. Because when cable or wires is not of high quality, we know the damage it can cause in the house. That's why, as far as Coleman Technical Industry is concerned, we maintain our integrity. And what that always also put us ahead our competitor is about our innovation. We are always proactive in whatever we do. Thank God for our MD. He's always proactive with his team members that, okay, there will be demand for this, there will be demand for that. Let's make provision for that. When the demand comes, we'll not be running helter-skelter to fulfill the demands of our suppliers.
Coleman's Technical Industries Limited, in line with its context and strategic direction, is committed to manufacturing quality electrical and telecommunications wires and cables that meet and exceed customers' expectations.
When we want to take decisions concerning the organization, we look at the situation on ground, we look at the challenges, we look at our strength. So first of all, we look at the strength, the opportunity we have in place, Especially Coleman is a company whereby we have a very good leadership anyway. So the leader being carrying everybody along. Then if there are challenges, we look at it holistically, then we provide solution. There are a lot of challenges, especially in manufacturing business. Right from just as I said, we have funding, issue of forest is there. Then all those things, we consider them. Then we look at the best way forward for us to solve these problems. So at the end of the day, we come up with a realistic and economical solution for us to achieve the target.
For us, Coleman, when we took over, we had a global outlook. We wanted to create a company that was, number one, world class, that was able to compete on the continent and even on a global scale. And to be able to do that, you need to be able to match what is obtainable out there. So we looked at, we didn't only look at our contemporaries in Nigeria, we looked at other companies in South Africa, in Europe and in the US, and looked at the models that they were running, and then looked at what was typical to Nigeria, and then tried to marry the two. One of the key things was, I mentioned before, deliverability. Deliverability ensures that you control the market. Economy of scale, being able to produce huge volumes in a short period of time using the same overheads, also ensures that you're manufacturing those products competitively at the lowest possible cost, even though we're in an environment where you have to create all the supporting ancillary structures to ensure that you're producing effectively. So we invested heavily in infrastructure, get us to a point where we're able to deliver economy of scale, high volume production with little margin, but across various niches of products. So from your wiring to the telecoms, to the TV cables, to the high voltage cables, and then to the marine cables. So we ensured that we invested heavily in infrastructure so that we are able to do volumes in all these sectors.
But also while delivering the best quality.
What's your success story? I always tell them there's no other success story than first trust the children, also get them to involve in the business, get them to have a stake in the business.
By all means, our biggest achievement would be the fiber. It's something that is unique to us. It's something that they said cannot be done in Nigeria, and we proved everybody wrong. We're able to produce it, and not only produce it, we're able to test it, we're able to certify it, and it's been sent to third-party confirmation labs, and it's been determined to be world-class.
Actually now say